Talk about radio. It's Pulse 95.
Salam and welcome to the Halftime Show with Omar Duri. I am your host covering everything sport, international, local. What a show I have in store for you today. I'm so excited to have this guest on the show. She's an Emirati athlete. She's a life coach. She's a handball player, a handball coach, a handball ref. God, this woman is so talented. Rawdha Mansouri is about to join me on the show. So stay tuned for more on the only place to be at 3, the Halftime Show on Pulse 95.
Pulse. You're listening to Pulse 95.
Salam and welcome back to the Halftime Show. It sure is that time. It's the Halftime Show with Omar Duri. I am your host covering everything sport, international, local. Hope you're blessed wherever you're tuned in around the world, whether it's 95 FM, Pulse95Radio.com, the YouTube channel, Pulse 95 Radio, or even our app, Sharjah Broadcasting Authority. It's with great pleasure I introduce to you an Emirati athlete. She's a handball player. She's a handball coach. She's a handball ref. She's a life coach. I'm running out of things here. Rawdha Mansouri, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Omar, for hosting me today. Thank you for highlighting athletes' stories. Actually, it's my pleasure to share my experience with you guys. Words can't describe how I feel right now. I'm happy and I'm excited. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. And Rawdha, I will tell you something, and the audience don't know this. We were supposed to have a chat for 5 minutes, okay? 5 minutes is all we were supposed to talk about before you came on the show. How long was that conversation?
It was actually 1 hour and a half.
Yes.
Almost.
Yes. It was an hour and a half, and I'll tell the audience this. So with the listeners that don't know, normally I call my guest, I get to understand a little bit about them, do my homework, do a bit of studying, and understand more about their story. This lady right here, it has a remarkable journey and an incredible story, and I had to share this with you guys. Rawdha, talk to me about your journey. It was very interesting because it started off as a footballer. Tell me more about that.
Yes. Actually, I started my journey at home as a football player like other kids.
Mm-hmm.
I was competitive. I was very competitive. I was hard on myself. I wanted to prove myself to myself in sports and in my life. Therefore, my journey started with a dream of representing UAE national team. And to be honest with you guys, I didn't know in which sport.
Mm-hmm.
However, having that dream made me feel powerful. I used to watch YouTube videos for the best football players like Ronaldinho, Roberto Carlos, Ronaldo, Kaka, all of these players. They used to inspire me, and I used to learn from their techniques and skills. Then these videos used to trigger some questions in my mind, because my dream was to represent UAE national team, and all I wanted is to wear that jersey with UAE logo.
Yes.
So some questions were triggered in my mind, like if these players could do all of that, then what I'm capable of doing, what I can do for this country, what can make Rawdha different than others. So many questions, to be honest, and yet I didn't give up. I used to play football, not for the sake of playing football. There was a connection between myself and playing football. When I was happy, when I was sad, I used to go and play football. I felt that I'm a part of a bigger picture, and people out there should know that females in UAE are capable of doing whatever it takes just to achieve their dreams in life. I participated in different football competitions, to be honest.
Different
As you know,
ones.
I played 5-a-side, 7-a-side, and 11-a-side.
And you actually won something, correct?
Yes. I won the best football player in Universities League 2013-2014.
Nice.
And until now, I do play football, and I participate in different competitions with my friends.
But
However,
Rawdha, tell me, what was the turning point?
Yeah, I started my journey as a football player. The turning point was when I found myself playing handball. One of the toughest sports ever. It happened because of my friend. Actually, she called and said, dude, let's go and try something new. And I said, okay, why not? We went for our first training, and I enjoyed the game to the max. The handball coach, she approached me and she said, "Welcome to our team. I want you to be with us."
Mm-hmm.
It's a new game, a new environment, new techniques, new skills. I said to myself, fair enough, definitely she saw something in me, and I'm going to be part of that team.
Mm-hmm.
Second day of my training with them, I broke my hand.
Wow.
Literally, I broke my hand. It was shocking for me. And since that day, I decided to be a handball player. I wanted to prove myself in that sport. And I said to myself, Rawdha, you broke your hand in a handball practice, then you're going to be one of the best handball player ever here in UAE.
Mm.
So that was my turning point. I joined two clubs here in UAE, Dhafra. I played for Dhafra for almost one year.
Mm-hmm.
Then now I'm playing for Al Nasr
Yes.
for 2 years. I'm the captain, and uh, and due to my passion in handball, I've been selected from the UAE Handball Association to be part of the Future Referees project. So I'm a handball player and I'm a handball referee as well.
Excellent. You know, Rauda, when you switched from football to handball, what were the similarities for you?
It's all about fitness,
Mm-hmm.
speed, teamwork, but there were some skills I wasn't good at in handball because this is the first time I play handball ever.
Mm-hmm.
I was almost 22, 23. And starting something from that age, it's gonna take much more time um, to have the best skill, for example, in handball. Let's
Yeah.
say if I started my journey as a handball player, I would be one of the professional handball players ever. But I started my journey as a football player, and the turning point was when I joined the handball team. So I worked really hard on myself just to know more about the skills, the techniques. Uh, my teammates, they used to practice for 1 hour.
Mm-hmm.
I used to practice for 1 hour and a half or 2 hours daily, just to make sure that I know how to shoot. They just to make sure that I know where to stand, just to understand my teammates better. So it took a long time, but it's worthy.
Absolutely. Guys, if you thought that was good, coming up next, we talked to Rauda about her challenges, her hardships, and you'd be surprised to see what her biggest challenge was on the only place to be at 3, the halftime show on Pulse 95.
Pulse. You're listening to Pulse 95.
Salam and welcome back to the halftime show with Omar Duri. I'm your host, covering everything sport, international, local. If you're just tuning in, where have you been? You're missing out. Radul Mansour is on the show today, an Emirati athlete, handball player, handball coach, handball ref, and now a life coach as well. And some of the things that I liked about speaking to Rawda was how she initiated that journey and the transition from football to handball, but also her biggest challenges. Now, in sport, normally on the halftime show, we talk about many opponents, many different obstacles that we face. Rawda, tell me one of your biggest challenges, and people might be surprised to hear this, unless you're a UAE female who's breaking the stigma in competing in sports and standing for something bigger than what we normally see. What was your biggest challenge?
To be honest, when it comes to my challenges, I can have a list of challenges as any athlete.
Mhm.
But the biggest challenges I had to deal with were my family's acceptance of being an athlete. It took me several years just to study and understand the way they look at things in life. As you know, we are an Arab country,
Mhm.
and they don't support female athletes in sports.
Yeah.
So this was one of the biggest challenges in my life.
Mhm.
I had several meetings, to be honest, more than 5 or 7 meetings with my brothers, with my aunties, with the whole family, just to convince them that we are at the end human. We have different point of views in life, and we were different for different purposes. So
Yeah.
this is my purpose in life. This is something I want to do. I explain to them my needs, my wants in life. So I have the right to go to look forward. I have the right to achieve my dreams. And after years, like between 5 up to 7 years, Umar, I managed to convince them that this is my life, this is my passion, and I'm gonna be one of the best players or athletes here in UAE. I want to write my own story, and alhamdulillah, I managed to do that. Uh, this is one. This is the most painful, actually, challenge.
Can you tell
I
me,
had
Rawdha, can you tell me just about that challenge and the fact that you had to study them? I find that so interesting because most of the time we try and correct them, but you try to study them in order to see their thought process to be able to evaluate, your thought process. How difficult was that, especially here in the UAE?
um, I'll share something with you, Omar, and
Sure.
with all of you guys. I'm into psychology,
Mhm.
so um, when I wanted to convince them about me being an athlete in this country and convincing them about my dreams, I used to um, I used to have um, arguments with them, so I can assess how do they look at things,
Mm.
from which perspective. And I used to read more about the processing the ideas and how people do normally act when they process an idea in their mind. So for that, I'm not certified in that. When I was 22, I wasn't certified.
Mhm.
But for me to convince them, I used to study, I used to read more, I used to have um, I used to look at things like a third party, assess everything from a different point of view,
Yeah.
different perspective. So I used to analyze their actions, analyze each and every word they say. Um, it made it for me easier to convince them. And to conclude this, I told them I totally understand and appreciate the your perspectives in life. However, this is my perspective, and I'm not doing something wrong. And this is my life. My whole life is associated with sports. I can't be something else. If you want me to be a doctor or anything else, I can't be. I won't be happy. My happiness is associated with sports. I can feel the energy. I can feel that I'm passionate about sports here in UAE. I feel that I have the energy to change a lot in UAE because I'm an athlete, and I do know what's going on in clubs. I do know how females or athletes they suffer from families not supporting them. So I wanted to be the role model for them. I wanted to tell them that it's fine. I've been through all of this, and you can do this as well.
Fantastic. It requires quite a lot of mental strength. And often when it comes down to athletes and coaches, we talk about physicality. But on the halftime show, we like to also focus on the mental and the emotional state of mind. What kind of things were going through your mind mentally when you were going through battling, the stigma that is amongst female competing in sport?
Actually, um, I used to picture myself a role model. So the mental state and emotional state, I used to motivate myself. When I was 22 or 21, um, there were few females athletes here in UAE, but now with the government support and with the government competitions like government games, and we have support from clubs now to have females teams. Uh, I'm finding it easier than before. Uh, when I was 22, when I used to tell people I'm a handball player or I'm a football player, they used to criticize.
Criticize you.
They
Yeah.
used to, yeah. So, but I didn't give up. That was my dream. So no matter what you think, this is your own perspective, and I can't change it unless you want to change that perspective. I worked really hard on myself. I used to read about um, the mind, how it works, the inner environment, how it works. I used to do some mindfulness techniques for myself when I was 22. All of that knowledge helped me to reach that level. So yeah, I'm glad. At the beginning I suffered a lot. People they don't know that I lost my father and my mother. Losing loved ones shape your personality. So from that point, I say to myself, no matter what happens in life, Rawdha, you keep going, you keep moving, you keep growing, you keep glowing. This is your dream. No matter what, just don't give up.
Absolutely. And I'm sure they're shining down on you super proud, Rauda, because of the accomplishments, not just you've told us here on the show, but you've told me as well. And coming up next, we talk about dreams, we talk about the message to society, and we talk about Rauda as a life coach as well on the only place to be at 3, the halftime show on Pulse 95.
Pulse. You're listening to Pulse 95.
Salam and welcome back to the halftime show with Omar Duri live on Pulse 95 radio in the heart of Sharjah. We're also live on YouTube streaming right now, as you can see us on Saturday. Amazing to have my guest Rawdha Mansouri on the show, an Emirati athlete, handball player, coach, ref, and a life coach. Rawdha, one of the things I was really interested about is with, mashallah, all the achievements you've achieved so far and almost setting the trail for Emirati athletes, both men and women, to follow from a young age. What is it like for you now, thinking about dreams and thinking about aspiring to new accomplishments?
When it comes to my achievements, Omar, I've been through a lot. I've been broken. I've been knocked down. I've been defeated. I have felt the pain that most couldn't handle. Year after year, day after day, yet I never run. I never hide. I always find a way to get back up. I see myself as a warrior. I fought 1,000 battles and I'm still standing. I have cried 1,000 tears and I'm still smiling. I put my all into the things I love the most, and I just want to share that with all of you guys that I'm proud of myself. My dreams are big, and I want to be. When it comes to a personal wise, I see myself as a minister of sports in UAE. I'm an athlete, female, who went through so many challenges, and I know how it feels when you want someone to improve things in your country. As a handball player, I want to be remembered. I want to win the GCC competition, and I want to keep winning each game I play. In 2019, October 2019, I represented UAE in GCC handball competition. We won the second place. I've been shortlisted as one of the best handball player in that competition. So since that day, I promised myself as a handball player, after 2 years, when we are going to participate in the next competition, that we should win the first place. When it comes being a handball referee, I'm looking to be certified from the International Handball Federation. I want to represent again UAE in international competitions as a referee. As a handball coach, I want to train the upcoming generation how to play handball. It's a really nice game.
Let me ask you something, Rauda. With all these things, mashallah, you want to do, we're looking at 5, 10 years. What can you picture yourself like on a bigger stage?
I can picture myself on a stage inspiring people to achieve their dreams in life. As I'm certified life coach, so I know exactly how it feels having someone out there cheers you up, motivates you, uh, holds your hand to reach your dreams. So from different perspective, I want to be that motivational speaker who inspires female athletes here in UAE.
Absolutely. And there's a voice, you know, when I spoke to you the first time, there was a voice I was hearing that wasn't just reaching out to athletes. It wasn't just reaching out to people, you know, in society. It was reaching out to a much, much bigger picture. And it wasn't just females either. I could feel that in your voice. Um, when you speak to people, when you address people, do you identify yourself with what they're going through normally when you address them?
Yes, I do share my experience with them, and sometimes I have positive talks with them. So I tell them that I believe in them. We all do. The society does. So they need to believe their gut feeling, and they are already there. They have to keep going, keep glowing, keep growing, because unless you suffer, you're gonna reach there. You need to suffer at the beginning. You need to face some kind of challenges to shape your personality, to give you different perspective, another way of thinking, just to reach your goals. It doesn't mean if I face a lot of challenges in my life that I give up. Give up. The word give up in my dictionary, it's not there. I need to find different ways to reach that goal. If plan A doesn't work, then plan B. If plan B doesn't work, then plan C.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it. All right. Rawdha, now, after this break, I'm going to put you on something we call the fire round. The fire round is something that allows the listeners to get to know you as a human as well as an athlete. So stay tuned, guys. Go get yourself a tea, go get yourself some water, and come straight back after the break because I've got Rawdha Al-Mansouri here on the only place to be at 3, the halftime show on Pulse 95.
You're listening to Pulse 95. Pulse 95.
It's Pulse 95.
Rawdha, how are we doing? So far, so good?
So far, so good.
It's flying, huh?
Yeah.
See, normally I can see you, so I can kind of engage with you, but it's because I can't see you, I'm just picturing you in my head. Okay. Okay, here we go. Final round coming up. Salam and welcome back to the halftime show with Omar Duri. I am your host covering everything sport, international, local. You see me smiling ear to ear. I'm so happy because this guest today is, you know, added that smile on my face. Rawdha Al-Mansouri is on the show, an Emirati athlete, a handball player, a handball coach, and a handball ref. She's also a life coach as well, and a fantastic human being, which I'm so glad she's on the show. Now, Rawdha, this part of the show is what we like to call the fire round. The fire round is when the listeners get to know you as a person. Are you ready for this, Rawdha?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, excellent. Rawdha, I'm going to throw some things your way. You can answer them quickly, but you have between a word and a sentence max to get back to me. Okay?
Okay.
Here we go. Rawdha, what do you think of social media?
Interesting.
Favorite cartoon?
Name of my favorite cartoon?
Yes.
Captain Majid.
I'm so glad you said that. Okay. Favorite cheat meal?
Burgers.
What kind of burger?
What kind of burgers? KFC.
Okay. Okay. Favorite footballer? I know the answer to this one.
Ronaldinho. He's the
See
best.
the way you said it? Ronaldinho. Okay, great. How do you reset your mind?
I can give you a paragraph. How can I reset my mind?
Give me a
Actually,
sentence. That's a challenge.
Shift negative emotions to positive emotions.
Excellent. Great answer. Favorite device or gadget?
Favorite device is Samsung.
Okay. Okay. So is it a phone?
Yes.
Okay. The fittest athlete you know?
Fittest athletes I know, Michael Hansen.
Okay, nice. Favorite cartoon, we said cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Okay. First thing you do in the morning?
I start my mornings with gratitude.
Nice. Last thing you do at night?
Belly breathing techniques.
Excellent. If you could have one superpower apart from the superpowers you have, which one would it be?
I want to make this world a peaceful place to live in.
Nice. If you could travel anywhere around the world, where would it be?
Specific, I'll go to Spain, France.
Okay. And if I was to ask you, would you rather coach or play? What would you say?
I'll play.
Okay. Why did the chicken cross the road?
I have no idea.
Okay. All right. If you could meet one female athlete, who would it be?
If I can be a female athlete.
If you could meet any female athlete, who would it be?
Female athlete.
That's a good one, huh?
ميثا بنت محمد بن راشد المكتوم.
Okay, nice answer. Okay. Do you have any role models? I think I know the answer to this.
When it comes to football, yeah, Ronaldinho. When it comes to handball, Michael Hansen.
And when it comes to life?
When it comes to life, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed and Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid.
Nice, good answer. What's your life coach motto? So what is the thing you say mostly as a life coach?
I tell people that we can't change others, but we can change ourselves. It's in our Holy Quran, and they should take it easier on themselves. This is my project for the future years. I'm working on that as well.
Fantastic. Looks like we have an exclusive here. Okay, and the last one I'll ask you is, how was your experience on the halftime show?
I was like, I had my fear, but with you guys, I'm happy. I loved it, and thank you all.
Well, it was a pleasure having you on.
It made my day, actually.
Well,
thank you so much.
I'm sure it made a lot of people's days as well. Listening to your story, it's remarkable, Rawdha. Thank you so much for taking the time. Before I let you go, where can our listeners follow you?
On my Snapchat, official Rawdha, Roudha, without any space. This is the most common social media we use. I post my games, my trainings, everything is posted on my Snapchat. So official Rawdha, yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And there you have it, folks. It is full time on the halftime show. See, time flies when you're having fun. And I'm so glad that Rawdha Mansouri joined us on the show today. Thank you, Rawdha, so much for your time. And hopefully we will see you in person very, very soon once the regulations stop down. And we'll come down and watch you play handball as well.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure.
And there you have it, folks. Remember, you can catch us every Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, 3 to 4 on the Halftime Show on Pulse 95.
Pulse 95.
Pulse 95.
Pulse 95.
The heart of Sharjah.